Hey there YouTube, this is Here to Learn 442. I've got another video for you today. Just showing you the lower receiver that I've recently put together. It was a stripped lower. I built it using a parts kit that was given to me by the family of a good friend who just passed away recently. So this rifle is going to be built in his honor. So that being said, take a look at it here. It's an Aero Precision AP15 multi-caliber. My serial number is blocked off there, obviously. This is a mil-spec forged receiver. It was a stripped lower receiver when I got it. My friend's lower parts kit that he had, that the family gave me, is from TDS Guns here. And it seems to be a standard mil-spec lower parts kit with a standard trigger group, standard mil-spec trigger group. The trigger pull seems to be fairly consistent with other mil-spec triggers that I've pulled. Just a very slight amount of take up, no creep, probably somewhere between 4 and 5 pounds. Well, I don't know, maybe 4 and 6 pounds. I haven't put a scale on it to test the trigger pull weight, but it is silver, which is interesting. I don't see a lot of silver mil-spec trigger assemblies. It does have some sort of a coating on it, and it does have some nice ridges there. I don't know if you can see them very well. Maybe if I get really close here, it'll focus in. I don't know, it may be kind of difficult for you to see, but there's some nice texturing on that trigger. I ditched the mil-spec or standard trigger guard, as I prefer the Magpul MOE trigger guard, which I have there in FDE. My buddy's lower parts kit came with an FDE Hogue grip, which means that's what he wanted, because he loved Hogue grips. He had them on a number of his firearms. And this is the grip that he had in the lower parts kit. Now, he had small hands, and I have pretty big, meaty hands. So for me, it didn't make sense to keep this guy. So I went ahead and I ordered another Hogue grip, but this time with the beaver tail. Similar to my Magpul MOE grip, except that this is obviously from Hogue and it's rubberized. As you can see here on the standard one, it's kind of thick up here where it attaches to the rifle, to the lower receiver. So I did have to notch it for the safety. As you can see here, that's not the case. Safety moves, no problem, and doesn't even touch that overmolded grip there. They both have similar palm swell, but the backstrap area here, or the beaver tail, whatever you want to call it, gives me a little bit of extra space for the webbing of my hand to the trigger, whereas it would be shoved much further forward, and I do have large hands, so it's a much nicer area for me to get my trigger finger in there, especially with the Magpul MOE trigger guard. Now, the one thing, if you get the Hogue grip with the backstrap or beaver tail, if you have the standard mil-spec AR-15 or M16 trigger guard assembly, you will know that you do have a gap down here. The Hogue grip fixes that. It has a little tang that sticks out there, but I cut it off because I have the Magpul trigger guard, which already takes up that gap there. Now, I did put most of this together a while ago. I've been waiting to get a buffer tube assembly, and it just came in. So now we've got the buffer tube assembly here, which is from DPMS. It's came with the buffer tube, came with the blocking plate for the rear takedown spring, rear takedown pin, spring, and detent, which, as most of you know, goes on over here on this side. Came with the castle nut, came with the buffer, and the buffer spring. Now, one thing I was told when I bought this was that this buffer would be slightly heavier than a standard buffer. Now, I was told it's DPMS, and that the DPMS buffers are slightly heavier. I asked if it was the same weight as an H1 or an H2. He said no, it's a little lighter than an H1, but a little heavier than what most companies are using. So I am going to do a comparison between this and my UTG Pro standard carbine buffer and see what the weight differences are. The only other thing that I can note is that this is the UTG Pro stock that came with my UTG Pro buffer tube assembly that's on my other rifle, my other AR. This will get replaced at some point, probably with a Magpul ACS in FDE. I really like the Magpul ACS stock. I have it on my other rifle. Maybe an ACSL, but probably an ACS. The one thing I can say though about this buffer tube from DPMS is it is a little bit larger in diameter than the UTG Pro, so there's a little bit less slack left to right. Front to back, that's determined by the pin, of course, so that's just a matter of pin sizing. But left to right movement, very little. Up and down movement, very little. So that is one thing. If you are looking at what buffer tubes to get, I can recommend the DPMS one so far, just for the fit. It's nice and tight. So there you go, guys. That's my new lower receiver assembly. And look for videos in the coming future. I will be building a 6.8 special purpose cartridge upper receiver to go along with this lower. Probably going to use it for hunting, something. Anyway, as always, keep learning, share your knowledge. Thanks for watching.